How to be a leader in a relationship. I'm going to give you 6 specific steps. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, partners, the world changes. All right, so if you're considering, hey, how do I become a leader? How do I want to be a great leader in a relationship? This can cross any type of thing. This can be, a group situation, friends, family, partner, work, doesn't matter. This applies, these 6 steps will apply in every relationship or every environment that you get into. And the first step is to be collaborative. Ideally, the primary obligation of a senior leader always is to create a clear vision of where we're going. Now, you can be a dictator and come up with what it is, but if you can maybe outline it, and if somebody isn't as good at seeing the vision, collaborate with them, show them, but give them the space so that they can start to understand, hey, this is where I'm thinking we're going, what do you think? And collaborate with them, get their input, get their feedback, because they'll have more buy-in on deciding where we want to go. First step. The second step is being curious and being open. So if they come up with and say, hey, yeah, I hear you, but I'm looking at something different. I don't agree with that. Or even if their body language says that. A lot of times people don't want to physically say that because we're so conflict avoidant. But if you see somebody's body's like, okay, well, be curious. Help me understand. I love the phrase, help me understand. Where are you thinking? What's your perspective? Now, when you do this, you have to be very cautious when you do this from the perspective that you genuinely have to set the intention that you want to be curious. You're not saying it to say it, but it's like, no, I want to hear you. And then genuinely, remember, 2 ears, 1 mouth, that's how we were built. Proportionally, try and listen twice as much as you can. And if you don't understand or it doesn't make sense, okay, why are you thinking this? Keep digging, keep pushing down. Because there could be some bear traps, there could be some blind spots that you're experiencing that aren't there. And if there aren't, say, okay, I got it, but can I offer my perspective? And then have a dialogue with them. But if you can be collaborative in that dialogue, that's going to be very, very helpful. Plus, it gets them you're modeling the behavior on how you want to be heard by showing them how you're listening to them, and vice versa. The more you can start to create this environment, the better it's going to be to create that collaborative environment. All right, so the next piece is going to be to model behaviors across the board. So when we talk about being a great leader in a relationship, if you need to make sure that you're modeling all the behaviors that you're looking for everybody else. So if you are a dictator and you're pushing and you're barking at everybody, you're not really leading people, you're telling people what to do. If you collaborate with a vision, you're curious about where things are and you model that behavior, those are 2 big steps. Then the next thing is creating clear accountabilities on who's accountable for what and helping to achieve that vision. And this could be as simple as cooking dinner at night. But if you say, yeah, I'm going to dice the onions and I'll take care of these other pieces, and then you go out in the garage and you screw around for an hour, well, you're not modeling the behavior you want. So how can you make sure that you're modeling the behaviors from accountabilities, from around communications, from collaboration to being curious, that you start to do this and it's going to build and it's going to get everybody else on board with what you're trying to do. All right, so the fourth thing is that how can you go through and catch people being great? So this is where creating that awareness, this is part of it is modeling it, but part of it is also reaffirming the different types of behaviors and outcomes that we're looking for. So if you have young kids, if you can help collaborate, you may end up having to primarily drive the direction, but be curious on where they're thinking or what they're curious about. Make sure that you're modeling the behavior of what you're saying. You're sitting there smoking a cigarette and you catch a 12-year-old smoking, it's like, you've lost all credibility. But then also, how can you catch people being great? So in this example with kids, if you're leading your children, if you keep your bedroom clean and you want to put everything away and you put it in the hamper, wonderful. If you're trying to get your kids to start doing that, and they aren't, but even if they do one, even if it's a mess, maybe they do a terrible job making their bed, You don't criticize what they're doing on the back. You say, hey, wonderful, good work on this. Can I help you look at these things? And then help improve it. It applies the same philosophies apply if you were a senior leader of a Fortune 500 company. And I coach public company CEOs, but the same philosophies apply. All right, the next piece, and this is silly, but it's something that we seem to have forgotten, and it's so important, is to remember to celebrate. So often we are striving, pushing, driving. And we get there, it's like, okay, great, now what's next? And we boom, 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 boom. And we don't take time to take a breath. And I'm not saying we have to have a big party and go crazy and, but it is important, particularly when you see somebody else doing it, you've caught them being great, then as a team, how do we celebrate that? How do we embrace those victories? So that it helps remind people why we're doing these things. And how can we, then the next step is going to be, how can we always be learning? So the sixth step is to always be learning. What can we be doing better? How can we get stronger at what we are, who we are? Be curious and say, geez, I could have done this better. What worked, what didn't? Be open. Again, we go back and we're curious. We're modeling that behavior. It's going to help drive all of these pieces. Because when you do that, you're going to get stronger and better. And what it does is it's going to allow you to move a lot faster in different ways. So the 6 steps are: number 1, to be collaborative. 2, be curious. Always model the behaviors you want to be, the accountability that you want to see. Catch your people in whatever capacity being great. Remember to celebrate, and always be curious, always be learning. So if you found any value in this and you'd like to learn more, you're always welcome to reach out at lifeon-yourterms.com. We've got courses in there that help people take a holistic approach to integrating their life. How do you protect yourself as the primary asset of the organization? So please subscribe to some other channels. Check us out. Like I say, got questions? Reach out. Right on. Keep smiling.